A lot of people have not realized the significance of what President Obama said yesterday. I want to grab clip 3, Rob, if you can. This is President Obama speaking to the Marines at Camp Pendleton. They had this in the to talk about yesterday. Got it in the queue for today. Remember, we've been talking about the problem that there's a huge problem with sexual assaults in the military. It's out of control. 26,000 sexual assaults reported last year. Now, what a lot of people are not paying attention to is that the majority of the sexual assaults in the military, the perpetrators are males and the victims are males. When people hear President Obama talking about sexual assault, they automatically think, and maybe that's what he's thinking about, is just male on female sexual assault. Those are no longer the majority of the sexual assaults that are occurring in the military. Of those 26,000 reported sexual assaults, the victims were males 14,000 times, and the perpetrator was a male. Of the male sexual assaults where they're victims, only 2% are the perpetrators, females, usually a superior officer. So you got 12,000 women are victims of sexual assault. That's 12,000 too many, and that, to me, in my mind, is a consequence of women in the military. I mean, that's where we're getting exactly what we told you would happen when this thing started. There's just a naivety about human nature. You think you can put men and women, young men and women, at that age in life, you can put them together in close quarters and not expect something to happen. That is naive. That is a staggering level of stupidity and naivete about human nature. You're guaranteed to get this kind of a problem because of human nature. So, they think people are basically good, so we can get away with it. We can make this work. Well, how do you explain 26,000 sexual assaults? If people are basically good, where does this come from? No, what the Bible believes, we are basically evil, born with a twist toward evil and wickedness and self-centeredness that is correctable through the work of the Holy Spirit and the presence of the Holy Spirit in our lives. Man is a moral free agent. He can make good choices. So we don't have to do these things, but human nature is going to pull us in that direction. But here we've got the majority of the sexual assault victims in the military are males. Now, when you think about that for a minute, when you hear President Obama talk about cracking down, listen to me, this is what I'm saying. Nobody's picking up on this. When President Obama talks about cracking down on sexual assault perpetrators, he is talking about bringing the hammer down on homosexuals because they are the majority of the offenders. And people aren't putting this together yet, that he is promising here to the Marines, I'm going to bring the hammer down. I am going to crack down on homosexual rapists, homosexual predators in the military. That's the implication. That's the impact of what he's saying, because we know that the majority of perps are males and the majority of victims are males. Let's listen. President Obama talking to the Marines yesterday, Camp Pendleton.
Keeping our military strong also means ensuring the safety of everyone who puts on the uniform. No military unit can succeed without discipline, without trust, and without cohesion. So I want you to hear it directly from me, the Commander-in-Chief. It undermines what this military stands for, and it undermines what the Marine Corps stands for when sexual assault takes place within our units. And that's why we are going to work together, all of us, to stop these crimes of sexual assault and uphold the honor and the integrity that defines the finest military on earth. And that message is coming all the way from the top.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard is President Obama, Mr. Gay Marriage, promising to bring the hammer down on homosexual predators in the United States military. Even the New York Times verified what I've just told you. Here's a quote from their piece back in June. In a debate that has focused largely on women, this is New York Times, this fact is often overlooked. The majority of service members who are sexually assaulted each year are men. In its latest report on sexual assault, the Pentagon estimated that 26,000 service members experienced unwanted sexual contact in 2012, up from 19,000 in 2010. So it's gone up, almost 33% in 3 years. What happened in 2010? Aha! We removed the ban on homosexuality in the military. What happens? Sexual assaults spike due to homosexual predators in the military. Of these cases, the Pentagon says 53% involved attacks on men. And then you got Slate magazine, the one that's no longer going to refer to the Redskins as the Redskins. They acknowledge this same dismal reality. Quote, the fact is that most military rape is male on male. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is the president. He calls homosexual assault an outrage. He calls it a crime. Here's what he says is going to have to happen to homosexuals in the military. They should be prosecuted, stripped of their positions, court-martialed, fired, dishonorably discharged, period. The president bringing the hammer down on homosexual predators.